So, good morning, students. In today's class, we are going to learn about chapter number 7 of NCRT, that is control and coordination. It's a very interesting chapter. Okay. Already, I have introduced this, and you know a bit about it. But today, through the Blackboard work, you know, in this chapter, basically, we are dealing with the nervous system, the human nervous system in particular. You all know that our body, our body consists of various different types of organ systems. To achieve a particular task, all these organs must work together in a synchronized manner. This is coordination is all about. Responsible for the coordination of various activities which occur in our body. Apart from this, along with this human nervous system, we also have an endocrine system, the glandular system. Okay, through hormones, okay, control is also set in our body. Now, these two are different separate systems which we'll be studying in animals. One more, when we talk about the plants, actually, plants altogether are different types of living beings. They don't have a nervous system like we or other animals have, the high advanced animals. Okay, in them the control and coordination is through the chemical messengers or the plant hormones. We call them as phytohormones. Now, in particular, we have to deal with the human nervous system here. So, when we talk about the human nervous system, what is it actually? What are the parts of human nervous system? Human nervous system, if we talk about, it has two main parts. Okay, two main parts in this case. Now, what are these two main parts? First one is your central nervous system. In short form, you can write this one as ENS. Okay. And the other one is the peripheral. Peripheral nervous system or PNS. So these are the two main parts of the human nervous system. Central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Now, what is the central nervous system composed of? The central nervous system is composed of again two main parts. Two main parts. That is your brain, the midbrain, and the spinal cord. The spinal cord. Next one. If you talk about the peripheral nervous system, what are the parts of this peripheral nervous system? So all the nerves, okay, all the nerves, whether they are arising from the brain, the cranial nerves, or whether they are arising from the spinal cord, the spinal nerves, or whether they are related to the visual or the internal organs of our body. All these nerves, they together make up the peripheral nervous system. Now this nervous system is again of two types. You can write down here. It is composed of or made up of all types of nerves. Now it is again of two types. Autonomic nervous system and voluntary nervous. Okay. Autonomic nervous system and voluntary nervous system. Right. When we talk about this complete human nervous system. So these are the main parts of this system. Now, what is the function of this nervous system basically? Write down here and what is the function of this nervous system? Now, function. Yes. The function of this nervous system, as I told you, it is the coordination of all the activities which are taking place in our body. So the function of nervous system is to coordinate all the activities in our body. For example, the moment you take food in your mouth, saliva must be released from the salivary glands. Okay, fine. So like this, you find that all in the process of digestion, various organs are involved, but step by step, they have to perform their function. Okay, in a synchronized way, simultaneously together. That means one after the other. So that control is done by the nervous system. Next one. When we talk about the nervous system, okay, what it is composed of, कि बना किसका हुआ है, इसकी functional units क्या होती हैं? So the functional unit of nervous system functional मतलब basically okay what special type of cells. So it is coming yes, now. So functional units okay of the nervous system, a neuron, you can call this as a neuron or a nerve cell. Okay? Or a nerve. Secondly, if you talk about this nerve cell, what it is actually? So neuron is a special type of wire-like cell. Okay, wire-like cell. The conducting wires, you have long conducting wires. They may have some, extensions, fibrous extensions. So in that way, this is just like a wire. In fact, neurons are the largest cell of the human body, longest and the largest cell of the human body. Alright. So these are some special type of cells which are specialized to, transmit the messages or the information unidirectionally. Okay, that means the flow of information takes place in one particular direction. It is not a two-way flow, it is just one-way flow of information. Next one. When we talk about the neurons, so it happens to come to then again we have to come back to the stimulus and response, exactly how that takes place. So I'm going to erase this bit, okay? Yeah. I'll continue on that part. Your neurons or the nerve cells, okay, they are of three types. Now, what are these three types? In a CNS, every time I will not write the expanded form. CNS means central nervous system. It is understood. All right. So information, it transmit the information. Information transmit कैसे होती है बेटा? It is transmitted in the form of electrical impulses. Electrical impulses के form में ही information जो है वो conduct होती है. We can say it is transferred from the receptor जो receive कर रहे हैं वहाँ से आपके brain तक spinal cord तक information जो है वो electrical impulses के form में ही travel करती है. Now this information which travels as electric impulse is also known as the nerve impulse. It means all same. Now what the motor neurons do basically? If we talk about the motor neurons, they transmit See, if we talk about the thing, they are transmitting the information. Information here basically is a command given by the brain. All right, students. So motor neurons. What are motor neurons? If we talk about motor neurons, all right, they actually transmit the command from central nervous system to the effectors. Effectors क्या है? What are effectors? If we talk about effectors, they are the muscle cells or the glands which are going to produce the response, the reaction in the form of any in the form of a movement, all right, of the organism. Some sort of movement will be there. Relay neurons, what are relay neurons? If we talk about the relay neurons, they basically form a connecting link between the sensory neuron and motor neuron in the spinal cord or the brain. So write down relay neuron. So they provide a linkage between the sensory and the motor neurons in the central nervous system, that is inside the brain and the spinal cord. So this is about the types of neurons. You must know these, okay, and along with their function. Now let us move towards the structure of a neuron. As we already have discussed, okay, neuron is a long cell. Neuron will be a long cell. They are wire-like. So any neuron basically has three important structures. Okay. Now, what are these important structures? It has a normal, cell body or the cytone. Like a normal cell, it has all the parts, nucleus, all right? And you can see this is the nucleus, cytoplasm. This is known as the cytone of the cell body. The cytone. Now, if you talk about this neuron, the cytome, the cell body, it has few extensions, okay? Yes, fibrous extensions. The shorter fibrous extensions on the cell body are known as the dendrites. We call them these extensions, which you can see here, they are the dendrites. The purpose of these dendrites is to receive information. And the fiber which is longest, okay, the extension of the nerve cell which is longest is known as the axon, or the tail part of this. This is the axon. You can see it has a protective covering on it. This is known as the myelin sheath. This is the myelin sheath. Alright. Now this sheath, this axon basically it takes the electrical impulse further towards the nerve endings. Okay. And this myelin sheath is a protective cover. What is a protective cover? It ensures that the information, okay, yes, doesn't get leaked. It is effectively transmitted. The effective transmission of information along this longest fiber axon is ensured by this myelin sheath. At the end, we have here you can see, okay, this is the end part of this neuron. We have the nerve endings. Nerve endings. So a typical neuron has three parts, okay? The dendrites, all right, cytone, axon, all right. So these dendrites are basically they are present on the cytone of the cell body itself. And then at the end we have the nerve endings. So write down here. It has three parts, okay? Three parts. Dendrites, cytone of the cell body, and then we have the, of course, at the end we have the nerve endings. Now, next important thing which we need to know here is What is the meaning of a synapse? What is a synapse? Of a complete wire-like connection going end to end. But these neurons are not joined actually. They are joined through the gaps. Isn't it amazing? Two neurons are joined through a gap. Basically, a gap is a connecting link between the two adjacent neurons. All right. So let's understand what is this synapse here. Okay. It is see, when we talk about माइक्रोस्कोपिक गैप बहुत ही माइन्यूट सा गैप होता है between the two adjacent neurons. Okay. Now across this gap also the message or the electrical impulse is actually transmitted. So that is why we can say basically a synapse connects to neurons. This microscopic gap synapse connects neurons. Right? So synapse is a connecting link between the two neurons. Now let us see how exactly the conduction of a nerve impulse takes place. Okay? How exactly the conduction of a nerve impulse takes place. Quickly we'll finish this, okay? So for this, we need to imagine that we have two neurons. Okay? Yes? I will draw these. And these are the nerve endings. This is a magnified view actually. This is neuron A, sensory neuron A. This is the axon of the sensory neuron, the same neuron, axon A. और ये इसकी nerve ending है. Impulse. From axon of neuron A till it reaches nerve endings. Now what happens at the nerve endings? This electrical impulse, okay, it will trigger a chemical reaction here and the release of certain chemicals. Certain chemicals will be released, okay, and the nerve endings, from the nerve endings to the synapse. Now these chemicals will cross this gap which are released at the nerve ending here. These chemicals are going to cross this gap and they will reach the dendrites. Okay, now what is this? This is neuron B. Release this tiny amounts of chemical. Small amount of alright. So these small amounts of chemicals which are released into this synapse or this gap. These are neurotransmitters. These chemicals will cross this gap, okay, and they will be reaching the dendrite of the next neuron. What happens here with the dendrite? These chemicals, okay, they will trigger a chemical reaction. An electrical impulse will be generated here. Again, electrical impulse will be generated. Okay, and then it will continue traveling along this cell body axon of the next neuron. And this process continues actually. And this is how the information is transferred from one neuron to the next neuron across a gap. All right. Now, I will have to wind up here. Okay. We will take up this. I will give the write-up of this in tomorrow's class. Okay. Yeah. We continue, beta. Revise this work. I hope the class was good for you all. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.